thumbs up that you can hear me, y'all. Satnam and welcome, beautiful friends. I still need a note that you can hear me. Yes, that would be a yes, I would think. I don't see a thumbs up. I see a lot of hellos. Hello, you all. You all. Yes, I'm going to say that you must be able to hear me. Can you hear me? Before I move forward, because last week this microphone wasn't working. Yes, perfect. Thank you. So Russia just warned that war with the United States is very close. Will this warning become a harsh reality for the United States? Remember, I had visions of high-profile politicians, celebrities, and so forth being arrested. We've seen this happen and begin to happen. I said this back in January, on January 1st. We've seen the arrest of ALEC Baldwin, but also just recently now a California councilman has been arrested for fraud. Fraud with, of course, gaining his seat before election. What other arrests could be in the near future? On New Year's Day, I warned all forms of transportation that transportation was going to have a lot of issues, mainly public transportation or freight transportation, trains, planes, not automobiles necessarily, but mainly trains, planes, and even some with ships. And so I talked about transportation accidents and incidents that would affect airlines. The trains, as we see happening, and buses were the main three. We've witnessed the worst train derailment catastrophe in history, along with several other train derailments that have happened and occurred. Now there has yet been another derailment, and even a black ops helicopter crash out there in Alabama. So again, I talked about airlines and helicopters in my past predictions. Should we still be alarmed by Spirit's warning and predictions revolved around transportation? Is someone sabotaging our railroads and transportation systems? Lots of predictions and lots of new predictions on this subject today. I warned our friends in New Zealand a while back to prepare for record-breaking weather, bringing about great floods. And that is exactly what Cyclone Gabrielle brought to the people of New Zealand. So prayers to those folks suffering through those floods, and always prayers back out to those in Turkey and anywhere that are devastated by a war or catastrophes related to the weather. The weather here in the United States has been somewhat quiet past week or so. But here in Sedona in the canyon, Sedona, Arizona canyon, we await, and hopefully this connection will be good throughout, because we await a huge storm that's going to last until the weekend. 5 days straight of snow and rain, up to a foot of snow, and high winds with 75 mile an hour gusts. So, and then, folks over there on the East Coast think they got it light, but guess what? The East Coast has been lucky so far, but not for long. More on this and a few other weather predictions on today's show. Spirit says that a fall of the housing system is coming. More on this today as well on this 54th, that's 5-4 episode of Tuesday's Tittle Tea Time. And it is Tuesday. This is my tea, and of course I am Tittle. Joseph Tittle, aka Spiritman. I welcome you to my channel. I thank you so much for joining me. Today is February 21st, 2023. Lots of things going on in the world as usual. If you are new to my channel, every Tuesday I am here with Tittle Tea Time predictions updates. Every Tuesday we talk about whatever cycles happening, like the moon cycles and such. Then I go into the top news stories and how they relate to predictions, prophecy, and of course every week new predictions are touching base on older predictions that may be closing in on fruition, coming into reality. So if you want accurate predictions, prophecy, and truth, you found your tribe. So smash that subscribe button. Don't forget to give me a like somewhere along the line, because I love you and I love my supporters that make this possible. And my uploads and everything else that I do here possible. I could not do it without all of you, but especially those who throw in chat cash or PayPal, excuse me, and are a part of the Awaken Your Spirit Subscribe Star platform. If you want more information about the Subscribe Star platform, please check that out down below, along with all the other links to my social media. Most importantly, the link to my newsletter. It's free, right? So if it's free, it should be for you. Because if it's free, it's for me. In that newsletter, I post a couple times a month videos that you may have missed, upcoming classes, programs, energy reports, and a whole lot more. Down below is the newest newsletter with special discounts on upcoming classes and private sessions with me. Yes, I do offer private sessions. So, thank you again so much for being here on this beautiful Tuesday as the storms come rolling into Arizona. Let's talk about the moon. Yes, the moon and the moon cycle and the energy and how it's all going to affect everything. We are finally stepping out of, well, we finally have stepped out of the waning moon cycle, and we now have begun the waxing moon cycle as of February 20th. The energy that came in with that last full moon on February 5th, we all can agree it was very intense, bringing huge impact to humanity. Look, the day of that full moon was when Turkey got hit with that earthquake, moments after the moon became full. No coincidence there, but it also brought a great impact to humanity in the way we think, the way we look at things and do things, and most importantly, the way we look at the world as a whole. The waning moon cycle gave us the opportunity to look really deeply at ourselves, our lives, our relationships. That was a big one with that last cycle, and what we truly need, what we truly want that will make us happy. So now we're in the new moon, the current new moon waxing cycle, which gives us a boost of energy. Did you feel that boost of energy come in on that new moon? I sure did. It was fabulous, I must say. And that boost of energy can give us the thrust that's needed for us to really begin to make positive things happen in our lives and around us. This cycle is the cycle of manifesting, a time for us to write down your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, knowing that they are already happening in the future. Thank you, Goldini, for the double 22s. I appreciate that with love and gratitude. So yeah, write down things like your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, knowing that these things are already happening in your future. One of the most important rules in working with the law of attraction is all summed up in my favorite quote that comes from Esther Hicks, the queen of the law of attraction. And in that quote, she says, "Overwhelm yourself with excitement in anticipation of the amazing future that lies ahead." So in other words, feel the emotions, feel the excitement, feel the emotions as if you are already living those dreams and living those goals. Know that it's happening already and start to celebrate it today as if it just fell into your life and onto your lap in perfect balance. I do teach class on the law of attraction, Transform into Abundance. And again, to find out about that, sign up for that newsletter below. And speaking of balance, we're moving from our current 9 universal month of endings in February, and we're stepping into a 1 vibration of new beginnings in March. And that can really assist us in bringing more balance into our lives, as well as balancing out our energy and our emotions. Utilize these balancing energies and the boost in the vibration that the new moon has given us and blesses us with to really make some amazing achievements and a new level in your life of abundance, joy, and happiness. Because this can open that all up for you this cycle. And who just put that chat cash through? Thank you for that. Carrie B. Thank you, Carrie B. I appreciate that. So I remind you again to take advantage of this cycle, and changes are needed. We need these changes. Going back to being in that 9 vibrational month of February, this vibration is in place to actually help us to let go of things once and for all. And I expect, without a doubt, that February is going to continue to bring about catastrophic world events, including, look at Turkey got hit again yesterday with another Earthquake 6.4. I was thinking of magnitude. So February is still going to bring about catastrophic world events. We need to look at these, though, knowing that the world is completely and totally out of balance. I think we can all pretty much agree on that one, too. And in order for balance to be restored for the people and the planet, it's going to bring about events that are going to look apocalyptic. And they've been saying this for decades when something happens. Oh my God, it's apocalyptic. And, they've been saying since World War II, oh my God, it's World War III, So, everything's apocalyptic the way you look at it. And we do have things as far as apocalyptic events and prophecies all coming into fruition. But it's not going to end everything the way that people think, or maybe some people hope that it will, but it's not going to be that way. We've talked about that multiple times as we go into the new Earth nation in the near future. Did someone else just put something through? Did I miss? No. Okay, I just don't want to miss anybody. So going back to this vibration, this is also going to bring about this time, not just apocalyptic events, but we can look forward to new innovations, new inventions, and lots of changes as well. Changes that are really extremely, vitally important to the survival of humanity. So take advantage of this cycle, my friends, to ensure your own personal success. Remember to write down your goals and all that in which you wish to manifest in your life. Remember that writing things down actually empowers them, and it empowers your vision of the future, and helps to ensure success. You can light a green candle to represent fertility, prosperity, good luck. If you have a physical or emotional relationships or love, it would actually be the color pink. If you want to ignite your creativity, a yellow candle. But, this is a time to utilize any tool that you have, whether it's lighting a candle, doing a prayer, to make your things come true, your dreams, your goals, and your aspirations. And so it's an amazing time. And again, I welcome you all 609, folks that are here live with me today. I am so glad to have you hanging out with me. Lots of subjects to talk about, lots to get into. Starting with transportation. That tea is utterly delicious. On New Year's Day, I warned that all forms of transportation would be accidents and incidents that would affect, again, trains, planes, airlines, and buses. I don't think we've seen anything with buses yet, but we've witnessed that worst catastrophic train derailment and explosion in our history, sadly. It occurred, especially with now. There's been more derailments, but what I've learned, according to, again, you can't believe everything you read, but in 2021, they say there were 1,627 train derailments. That it's actually a common thing, except it's not common when we see what we just saw in Ohio and the people in Ohio. So there's a difference. Yeah, it might be common, but it's not common for major events that occur like the one in Philadelphia where it derailed and killed how many people? I'll never forget that one. That was a big deal. Probably the last big deal train derailment, that last one probably was Philadelphia. So let us begin with the horrific modern-day Chernobyl that's happening again in East Palestine, Ohio. Remember last week, Spirit warned residents to check their water and check their wells. I got a few comments from some of you who live right nearby. Our prayers do go out to you. And a couple of you sent me messages saying that you, listened to me last week and took the advice to check your well. Well, please, I'm glad you're taking that advice from Spirit, actually, not me, but the Spirit. I take no responsibility. I am just the conduit of the information. But please tell your friends and your neighbors to check their water and keep checking the water. You need to check it like at least once a week, twice. Right now, I would do twice a week, especially when you get rains, is what Spirit said. You see rain come or blowing, especially right over that ground, right above where the plane or train incident occurred. Spirit says, watch out and check your water, especially right after that. So Ohio residents are now breaking out in rashes after showering. I'm sure you probably heard about that now. So remember I talked about water wars way back. Was it this Jan? No, it was last January. My January New Year's Day predictions for 2022. Spirit told us about the water wars that were coming. I got more on this, predictions revolved around that, but the water wars that Spirit talked about were wars over water. Like what's going to happen in the Middle East in the near future, maybe this summer. If not this summer, definitely no later than 2025, when the countries along the Euphrates River launch war over the water that's coming. Spirit shows me that the United States infrastructure is under attack, but so are others, not just United States, and there's going to be many others to come, including Canada, according to Spirit. We already seen attacks on our power grids, and these are going to continue. We saw the attack on a pipeline. We all know what pipeline I'm talking about, too, the one under the ocean. We saw that attack. More of those are going to come as well, says Spirit. Come summertime, there will be several successful sabotages of power grids in the United States and abroad. Even more concerning is the sabotaging of our transportation systems. I had a vision of an explosion coming from either from in a train car, or more so, I think it was a subway car. But I was like watching on the outside, standing as like, you know, somebody waiting, sort of. And the train's, it looks like to me like the train was slowing down to come to a stop. And as it was slowing down is when it blew up. So I could be the other way around too. As the train began to take off, I saw this explosion. But it's either one, because I saw the slow down coming to a stop. And now the feeling is that braking could have something to do with igniting whatever's on this subway system or on this train. I'm pretty sure it's a subway, though. I'm not sure where this is, but I had a vision of people fleeing out of a subway as well today. And I saw people fleeing out of the subway as smoke was rising up out of the subway entrance. It reminded me of a movie. I don't know what movie, but it reminded me of a movie. And I believe that this could actually occur. Thank you, Sherry Berry. You're always so kind to me, Sherry Berry. She's sweet like berries. I'm sorry, I cracked myself up. I like to believe I have another career in comedy if I need one. Which I hope I never need. But anyway, the vision I had, I believe, is New York City or maybe Boston. That's what it looked like. It looked like a city very much like that anyway, where I saw the smoke coming up out of the subway system and people fleeing out the entrances and exits. Speaking of sabotage and sabotaging our systems, why is this not opening? My link doesn't want to open. This is interesting. We were just talking about this in my Zoom chat a moment ago with my friends from Subscribe, Star, Awaken Your Spirit community. And one of my friends is in Philadelphia, like most of my friends, well, outside of Philadelphia, some in Philadelphia, but both. And this was an interesting story. A pipe bomb was found behind the Philadelphia church next to the railroad. That's right, the Philadelphia Police Bomb Squad, and when was this? This was February 20th, yesterday. Found the bomb squad removed an 18-inch, that's pretty damn big, 18-inch PVC pipe with capped ends and black powder behind a house of worship Sunday, according to Fox 29 Philadelphia. The pipe bomb was reportedly found at 1:40 p.m. at the St. Dominion Catholic Church in the Holmesburg neighborhood of the city. Multiple law enforcement in Frankfurt, PA, and have been reported to have, and then it cuts off. Why is it cut off? That's silly, but you got the point. You got the point of that article. Interesting, right? So Spirit's right. The total sabotaging is occurring. And I said this months ago, but now we see it happening. Did I miss somebody in my chat again? I did. Why is this chat room doing that? Thank you, Patty. Patty D. Thank you for your chat cash support. I can't. Why does this thing do that to me? I don't like it. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, I can see better now. And then it went back again. Lordy, lordy. So a couple visions and a couple predictions to add to this is I see two trains colliding in a vision. And it appears to me as if the tracks are crossed with one another. It was a really interesting vision, actually. And it was a line of trains. So how can I show you this? I don't have anything. Oh, no. Oh, actually, yeah, I'll use my dowsing rods right here to give you an idea. Do you know what dowsing rods are? So it was like the train tracks were crossed like that. Just like that. Two different train tracks. And I see one train on this track here that's long, as long as this, super long train. And then on this track here, I see a train plummeting forward, right? Hitting this, it looked like kind of like almost the center of the big line of trains. I didn't know railroads cross each other like that. But it looked like to me, it felt like to me that the timing obviously was way off. And the one that charged us through shouldn't have been there when they were there, or whatever the case is. I don't know where this is, but I also see another train derailment that occurs over a small bridge in a small creek or river. This one felt a bit concerning to me, especially for the environment. So I can only imagine that there must be something toxic that is on. I put topic and it's supposed to say toxic. Toxic is on the train cars. I also see a train derailment in either China or Japan, or both China and Japan. These visions make the line of train cars that I saw in this particular vision looked extremely long, like 40, 50 cars. Somehow it feels to me that this could be weather related, and it reminded me of what happened in Philadelphia years ago that killed several passengers. So perhaps reminding me of that today. Spirit reminds me of things, and it's all about symbolism, right? And putting together what Spirit shows me. So that coming up would make me think that this has got to have some passenger cars on it. And that's all I saw with that, but it looked like it was wiped out some buildings off to the right. So if I'm on the train going down, it looks like it goes off to the right. Really interesting vision. Another one is going to involve, again, a subway system and people potentially being trapped. I'm not sure if this is related to an actual earthquake and a partial collapse of some sort. And this one could be the one that occurs in Japan. But also the country of India comes to my mind. So I expect some type of news to break out when it comes to the people of India and their train or subway system. I don't even know if they have a subway system, but if they do, they definitely have a train system though. Where'd you come from, bug? It's like cold outside. Should be no bugs, especially in my house. That's a bug, my friends. It's not an orb, it's a bug. Although there might be orbs flying around. Orbs like to fly around me. So even with transportation issues occurring and coming up in the near future, Spirit still insisted to me today that we still keep our eyes to the skies. That's right, keep your eyes to the skies. And I've been saying that for months now. A Chinese spy balloon and a few meteors is nothing compared to the sky events that are coming soon. To a sky above you. Coming soon to a sky above you. Pay attention. Spirit reminded me that today and reminded me to remind you. With that, and I must have stopped channeling to get up to get something or something because I ended. So I didn't completely finish that, but we'll move on anyway. Yeah, I see an issue with a satellite actually. And likely a satellite that's falling to the earth. And this time it didn't feel like it was falling into the ocean to me. It felt like it was falling into a neighborhood. Whatever it was that was falling. I couldn't see what was falling, but it felt like something satellite related. The other part of this that it felt could be potentially possible is that it has to do with Starlink or Elon Musk's rockets going up in the air, and one of them actually losing the satellite or something as they're trying to put it up, and that falling to the earth and shattering. That reminds me of the past predictions of the Hopi people that talk about something crashing to the earth right before, the blue star appears. That's a big prophecy in itself. Let's move on to elections and high-profile arrests. Yeah, we're still waiting for all those people to be arrested. Some of these people are really absorbed in conspiracy, that truly believe that the Clintons are dead, or Obama's at Guantanamo Bay, and that, and I said when they started this years ago, remember this rumor has been going on for years, back when Trump was still president, they were talking about all these people being dead, and I'm like, Hillary Clinton was just on the TV. Oh, well, that's a clone. Now think about this, my friends. Think clearly, mind it for a moment. Why would they put someone in Guantanamo Bay or kill them or whatever, hang them for their criminal activity, and then put a clone in their place that's just as corrupt as they were? That wouldn't make any sense, would it? Because these clones are if they were clones, they're just as corrupt as the previous. So, think about that really, really clearly, friends. That is true conspiracy at its best. They are still alive and thriving. And believe me, when something happens to them, we will find out and we will know. Like we do about Alec Baldwin, who was just back in the news recently after his incident and the murder over there, incident that happened at a movie set. Unfortunately, he belongs to the reptilian overlords, friends. He's part of the reptilian overlords, and therefore he will get off lightly, according to Spirit. Although I do see Alec Baldwin in a prison jumpsuit. It was orange, to be exact, actually. Unless he's playing a new role in a new movie as a prisoner, it's possible, but it's very doubtful. It's actually probably a real jumpsuit. He won't be wearing that prison jumpsuit for long. Expect a new book, of course, to come out revolved around this. And it either comes from Alec Baldwin, that'll say he wrote in prison or whatever, or it's going to be about him. It could be both, one about him and one that he puts out on his own. All, centered around this horrific incident on the set of a movie that's to be released next year. Let's talk about fraud. Lots of that going on in the world. Open link. Thank you. I'm just going to read this one right to you, my friends. I'm just going to read this to you. Nobody chatting in the chat room, or is my chat room stuck? California councilman arrested on multiple election FROAUD charges from the 2020 election. Democrats tried to tell us that the 2020 election was the most secure election in history, but more election fraud has been uncovered. California council member Shakar Khan, yeah, he's a Khan, all right. That's funny, his last name's Khan, Khan. Yeah, he's a Khan, all right, no doubt. And he has been arrested for suspicion of fraud, especially in the 2020 election process. Our investigation uncovered that the councilman, Mr. Khan, it's just so funny to me, has attempted to undermine, manipulate, and violate one of the most fundamental rights that we have here in this country, and that is the right to free and fair voting. Yeah. That hasn't happened since they assassinated Kennedy, friends. Since then. And if a California councilman can almost get away with that, imagine how many actually did get away with it, right? Think about that. How many did get away with it? Or are they just making him guilty to throw you off of the big character? He's just a councilman. What about the leaders? What about president or the senators or whoever, whatever, governors and so forth? What about the big people? He's just a little old councilman. And if a little old councilman can rig something, but he got caught, so he made a mistake, but they don't all. A lot of them are smart, right? I just thought that was a really interesting topic. And Spirit says that there will be so much more to come revolved around that, especially in the years 2024 and 2025. This will be throughout the world and not just here in the United States. The fall of leaders and fake leaders, Spirit said fake leaders, that made me laugh. I'm like, fake leaders, that's a good one, Spirit. They do have a good sense of humor. Did you meet my friends? Did you meet my friends? So they're fake leaders. The fall of leaders will continue. In one country, I saw people will demand an arrest. And I wasn't sure if it was their current leader or their former leader or both. But I saw like people in the streets protesting and demanding the arrest of their leader. We can only hope that's United States. It wasn't United States, but we can only hope it would be, but it wasn't. Anyway, soon we will see a repeat with a few celebrities like we saw with Martha Stewart a few years ago. Martha Stewart and that Mike guy, Mike Sorrentino, who played on MTV's Jersey Shore. Remember that? I remember what happened to them, and especially Martha Stewart, even though she went in and taught everybody in prison how to sew and stuff, but had a good old time and wrote a book while she was in there and everything. She had so much good time on her hands. Well, Spirit shows me that the current administration here in the United States is looking to make a few examples out of several people to put a scare into Americans. That's right. So not only that, but they are going to use tax fraud as a way to take down a few people that they consider to be a threat to their communist control. Yep. So it'll be interesting to see who these people end up being. We will see unprecedented number of audits and IRS invasions. Like kind of like an FBI raid. Kind of like I saw visions of, I didn't know the IRS could even do that. But Spirit showed me visions of people with IRS jackets on going into this big building, big corporate building in a city, like a big Sky Tower building. They're probably raiding Trump because it certainly ain't raiding Biden. But I don't know who they're raiding, but they're raiding somebody. I also see a surprising arrest around a former male star. I could not put my finger on who this star was because the vision I had of him was him, a mugshot. It was a mugshot. And I could not tell you who the heck this person was. He looked like he was on drugs and all scruffed up. But apparently he must have been some type of former male heartthrob star or celebrity. Probably when he was younger and now isn't. I don't know who it is. But I see this person facing not just charges on drugs, but also charges on murder. Thank you, Yin, for your chat cash. Your support helps make this happen, and I love you for that. So I also see I said that already. Surprising arrest. I was dying to try to figure out who this was, but I could not put my finger on it. But if I see him, what this person looks like, I'd know him right away. Real scruffy. Actually, it kind of looked a bit homeless. Actually, it was the word. And a little bit spaced out, like mentally, in the mugshot vision that I had of that person. So I'm going to be interested to see who that ends up being. Be on the watch, Spirit says, for high-profile court and justice proceedings. Remember, I had visions similar to this in the past. We are going to see another diversion, is what Spirit said, to divide your attention away from what's important. Similar to the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard movie. Spirit called it a movie. The Johnny Depp and Amber movie. Which I hear they are both being nominated for an Oscar after that. Oscar-winning performance. Johnny Depp and his ex. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to see something sort of like that, a diversion. And there's going to be a few. One like that probably involves celebrities or gets people to it. Like OJ pops in my mind, that whole OJ thing. So it could be related even to that. Because I do see a lot of horrors breaking out in Hollywood. I talked about it in the past, but I'll talk about it. It's not even in my notes, but I'm going to bring it up again because I see a fall of Hollywood occurring, and we see it. It's falling in so many different ways. Look at movie attendance, for example, and people not being interested anymore. And not only that, there's just the corruption and everything that's happening in that satanic village of Hollywood. And so we're going to start to see that energy start to play out with people that are in that arena, the Hollywood arena. It's going to be very interesting. I see some type of new arrest that connects somehow to the Disney Corporation. Yeah, go figure, right? I said this in the past and it happened. They actually arrested a couple pedos throughout that circle of evil Disney. So I see some type of new arrests that are somehow connected to the Disney Corporation. So it's probably not Disney, it's probably somebody that works there or somebody that's connected to it in that aspect. Some of these cases will, of course, be involved around children and sick-minded people, unfortunately. One arrest of a politician will be done in front of an audience of people and cameras. This kind of feels to me, it's almost like, you know, the Senate's, you know, in the House, you know, doing their meeting and the FBI comes barging in to arrest somebody. It almost felt like that to me, like a big high profile arrest. And again, to make an example and put fear into people. Sorry, I touched my microphone. So that's going to be really interesting. It reminds me of in the past, remember I said there would be like a Senate walkout and a Senate strike? So I can't wait to see that happen. I don't think that'll be for another year or so. And hopefully this won't be for years or ever in the future, and that's WWIII. We do not want to see WWIII. Definitely not. Some say we're already in World War III, and some say we are not. What I say is there is definitely a modern day war occurring right now on our planet, and it feels to me to be more of a technological war that is indeed already in progress. It's happening. Look, sabotaging pipelines and all kinds of crap. It's a technological war. So indeed the world is fighting, just not directly with each other with weapons. Not yet anyway, and hopefully never. But you know, Putin and Russia just recently said war with the United States is very close, which means they plan. That's their plan. Their plan. Very close means we're just preparing. We're just getting ready for it. And we're working with China to do it. Putin has warned and continues to warn the United States. And that bear cannot be poked much longer because that bear is going to turn and bite back really, really soon. United States and their allies have been making terrible decisions when it comes to the current war in Europe. They have directly involved themselves into these wars, into this war. It feels like wars to me, even though it looks like one. It feels like multiple wars to me. Whether they want to admit it or not, they have already involved themselves. United States isn't the only one. Several others have involved themselves in this. And as far as Russia is concerned, they feel like they're the ones being attacked from many different directions. And soon, Spirit says, that will actually become a reality. So there's several attacks coming in from 3 different directions, is what I see, into Russia. But now they have China on their side, and a few others that are on their side, including North Korea. So, you know, it's heating up, friends. It's heating up. And I really didn't think that a World War III would come, and hopefully it don't ever come. But my feeling on it was 2025, which is the 9-year in numerology, which is endings, death of cycles, and so forth. So that would make sense that the war could very likely happen, especially a world one. In that 9 vibration. But it's just pushing closer and closer, it seems. And I think that's the crazy administration that we have running this country, Canada, and a few others that are putting their noses in a war that's none of their business. And they're poking the bear because they want to murder the bear and all of the bear's people. Just like they did in Iraq, just like they did in Syria and Afghanistan. And that's what this is all about. Folks, we already know there were no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, right? We know this. We know it was all a lie. Do you really think they suddenly started to tell us the truth? Do you really think that all of a sudden, we're going to be honest all of a sudden now, we're going to be honest to the American people and to the world? No, they're worse than they were before. So all of this, you can't believe anything they say. Biden just announced that he's sending $500 million more dollars of our tax money during his visit when he was in the UKR, while the poor people in Ohio get nothing. I bet you if you took a vote in America right now to take that $500 million and whether to give it to the UKR or whether to give it to the people of Ohio, I bet you the people of Ohio would win. Guaranteed by a landslide. Why do we not vote on where our money goes? It's our money. That's another thing our government needs to change. That's what needs to be changed as well. We need to have a right as to where the money's going. We need to have a say in it, and we don't. We have no say. Most of it goes into fighting wars and suppressing us more and more and more. So he's leaving all those people in Ohio behind. Some who currently don't have anything now. And the current administration has to be literally the biggest supporters ever of war and the least supporting administration ever of the events that are occurring in our own country. I said it before and I'll say it again. North Korea. North Korea. North Korea. I drank my tea too fast. Now I gotta go. You know what? I'm out of tea. It's a tragedy. North Korea, yes. I said before in the past, and Spirit reminded me today that the fall of North Korea and Kim Jong-un is coming soon. It may not be again until the years 2025, 26. That's why I thought, because remember my video Tribulation, 2025 to 2032, that period of time. That's what would make me think if there was a World War III, it would be in 2025. It would make sense. But there again, it could happen before that, and then it could just escalate greatly and terribly by 2025. That would be tribulation. 7 years. Think about that. But going back to North Korea, 2025, 2026, Kim Jong-un's reign will be done. Spirit says it's almost over. Excuse me. I don't know how, but I do see North Korea getting involved with China and with some type of war. I don't know what war, but I felt like North Korea is getting into the circle of war. I feel that they are going to use North Korean submarines and North Korean, I had a vision actually, not all just North Korea, I had a vision of submarines, a fleet of submarines and ships coming across the waters is what my vision was. And some of those flags, and I don't know flags, so I had to have to look them up, but the flags were different. And this was all at the same time I was getting information about North Korea. So this could be linked to my past prediction of conflict occurring in the China Sea. It could be something separate. But I'm going to go with that vision today aligns. And this is why it's good to be here every week and listen every week, because we get more details about predictions that we got in the past. So Spirit gave us more details about North Korea and conflict with the China Sea, for example. Going back to Russia, Russia will make a huge attempt at getting even with out those pipelines, or the pipeline or whatever it's called. They want to. They are not. They're very unhappy. They knew all along the United States was responsible, but now the world knows that the United States is responsible. I mean, to me, even a little kid could have figured it out instantly without knowing anything. So now, how does Russia, because Spirit said Russia's going to make a huge attempt at getting even with the United States for cutting off that pipeline. So does that mean that there's going to be a mutual sabotage of maybe one of our pipelines here in the United States? Got to remember my past visions. Again, I had past visions of a great oil rig fire out on the ocean. That popped up in my mind again today. So is that going to be it? Are they going to somehow ignite one of those out in the sea? That would be awful for the environment, especially for the fish and all of the sea. But also more pipeline failures is what Spirit showed me. And now a war against oil. So it's a different kind of war, right? Usually it's the United States going in to steal your oil, like they did with Iraq. And other reasons too. Mainly that was all about the poppy flowers and their opium production, which the United States has their feet in Afghanistan with the opium production for the pharmaceutical companies and all the heroin that comes into this country and your country as well, no matter where you happen to be. Yeah, that's what that was all about. But that's a whole past story. Pipeline failures and a war related around oil. And I feel like it was a war of cutting people's oil off is more like it. Remember also I had visions of fires and stuff related to oil. So this is gonna, I got a feeling that whatever they do, Russia, to the oil, cutting off oil somehow to the United States, which really they can't cut it off because we have this idiot that cut off all our pipelines. But I had this feeling today that likely the current Biden regime is going to be forced to reopen pipelines and eliminate the executive orders this idiot signed on the very first day. He immediately began to screw Americans, because it's basically what he's been doing since day one. So he's going to be forced to open them up somehow. So that'll be interesting. Now, if Americans would get off their butts and start protesting and showing like they did back in the 60s during Vietnam and stuff, like we're just not doing anything. You know, not that that's going to do anything either, but, you know, we need to show our voices. We need to step forward. And that was in past predictions that this year people are going to hear their voices are going to stand out. So I can't wait to see that occur. I've been waiting. I feel like I've been waiting for that to occur, but it just hasn't occurred on the level. It started last year, but not here in the United States like it should. In Canada as well. Canada tried, and then they took everybody's money. Messed up. So Spirit says that Iran is about to become a huge issue for parts of the world and probably the entire globe, especially Turkey, followed by Israel. Tensions are going to continue to build up. I didn't know there was any, but Spirit said tensions are going to continue to build up between Turkey and Iran. So if Spirit said that they're going to continue to build up, they must be building up already. I don't know what their beef is with each other. But Turkey is in no way prepared to take on any kind of attack. They've already been attacked through technology that brought about an earthquake. But Spirit shows me that Turkey is actually planning some type of attack of their own. I thought that was interesting. I don't know what that is, but remember I talked about the Antichrist over there? And that whole thing gathering together over there in the Middle East? It's happening, friends. It's happening. The Iran Ayatollah, I could say that, is going to die. Current Iran Ayatollah, who still has a Twitter page, and they didn't delete him, right? Interesting, huh? He's going to die, or he's going to get killed. Probably likely he's going to get killed. Stabbed in the back is what Spirit shows me. Not literally. Again, this is a vision that Spirit just showed me of somebody walking up behind him and stabbing him in the back. But I wouldn't take that as that's how he's going to die. I would take that he's going to be stabbed in the back or killed. He could be poisoned or something by his own people. So that's coming. I don't know when. But Iran's going to have two simultaneous leaders. Like one after another. Two simultaneous. One, which is going to be the one that's going to go after Israel. And that's going to be all connected to the time of the Antichrist. So we got to look for two simultaneous leaders in Iran. After this one currently that's in Iran gets killed. So I see wars over the water. So we talked about what? I'm back. I don't know what happened. The storm's rolling in, my friends. The storm's rolling in. How many pages I got left here? I got 4 more pages to go through of notes. So we're almost there. We're almost there. Let me go back to what I said, just in case you got cut off there. It's the storm, my friends. It's the storm. It's coming in. I see wars over the water, and wars that like are on top of the waters, being fought on top of the waters. This time, some type of war is going to be fought over the waters. I saw visions of fighter ships, fighter planes, and submarines, all like heading out. I saw missiles coming down from planes into the waters, onto the waters, blowing up on the waters, all in the same vision. Again, I could say that this is the China Sea, as I predicted in the past, but for some reason, I felt like this is a different body of water. It could even be caused from the war, a war simulation. You know how they do their little war games, little play war games? A war simulation that goes bad and actually launches something that brings about mutual conflict. But somehow I feel like this is related to the Middle East, Europe, or both Europe, Middle East, perhaps connected back to the country of Turkey. So wars over waters, it'll be interesting. Maybe that's, remember, Spirit said earlier that Turkey already has a plan or hope to attack somebody. So maybe that's where this all comes in pieces together. Remember, your comments are important to me. Leave them below. And also remember, we are about to get hit with 4 days worth of storms. So if I'm buffering, I apologize. I was hoping this wouldn't happen. Normally, I'd say I'll do it Wednesday, but we're getting hit tonight through the weekend. So Spirit shows me tensions along the Persian Gulf by summer and fall months of this year. Something's happening in the Persian Gulf this summer that's going to escalate something. And again, this is the first time I got anything on that, so I'm sure over the next few weeks I'll get more information. All the more reason to be a part of this tribe. Hit subscribe and don't forget to click that like button because I love you, so click that like. A warning to the people of Poland. Yes, a warning to the people of Poland to be on alert, to be prepared, because an attack of some sort is imminent. Poland is eventually going to be pulled into war. And Poland will be very sorry if they decide to step into that battlefield. That goes for Germany too, by the way. I just heard that in my ear. Spirit just said that goes for Germany too, but definitely Poland. China's planning something. China's planning something huge, and they're planning with Russia. But what Spirit showed me today is that China's not fully in. You know, they're just leading Russia on. They're not fully in whatever this plan is. Not yet, anyway. So all it needs is Biden to piss off China a little bit more, and then they'll be in full force. Or somebody else, might not even just be Biden, it could be somewhere else, another country like Trudeau, that wackadoo. Actually, it's doing something that really angers China. Yes, a wackadoo. So I can't really put my fingers on what this is. But I will tell you, did you hear about South Africa? They're going into naval drills with China and Russia. Remember a while back, we talked about this a while ago, months ago, I think, that all the weapons that were being sent over to the UKR were being intercepted in South Africa. Remember we were talking about that? Now we know why. Because now South Africa is working with China and Russia in these naval drills. Friends, not good at all. And they're going to fight us with our own weapons, right? That's basically it. You know, they fund, the bankers and all fund both sides of the war because it's a big money-making machine for these sickos. Did you hear or see the footage of this portal that opened up over Hawaii? One of you left me a comment and I went and looked at it. Kind of looks like it could be fake, but at the same time, supposedly many people saw it. And at the same time, what does a real one actually look like? We don't even know. So it could look fake even though it's real. Hawaii is in great danger, and is a huge target. Somewhat of a target of Mother Earth first, because her plates below the ocean and below Hawaii are shifting, and also a huge buildup of magma beneath the sea is also occurring beneath Hawaii and around Hawaii. But I also see a threat of some type of invasion. I hold this in the light that it never does happen, but my feelings on this is that China, not Russia, China wants its hands on Hawaii and wants its hands on Alaska as well. And Russia may aid them in the process. Spirit says that there is still time, I don't know how, but there's still time to prevent such an event from occurring. So it's, on the table, but it's not fully in. And it can be prevented. I don't know how. It can be prevented when we get a new leader, first of all, or a real leader. I do not know anything other than that. But let's hold these areas, Alaska and Hawaii, in love and light. And I had this weird feeling of a modern day Pearl Harbor. I don't know what a modern day Pearl Harbor would look like. You got to think of modern day. If Spirit says modern day, we're going to think of technology, right? And such. Let's talk about weather. Weather systems are beginning to whip up again. And if you follow the groundhog like those in Pennsylvania, winter is going to be still a long run ahead of us. We're in it. We're in it for the next 6 weeks, according to the groundhog, but I say we're in it longer than that, depending on where you live. Spirit shows me great storms that suddenly pop up here in the United States, but also globally. Just popping up storms. I see major flooding coming to the country of India. more in New Zealand, but also Australia. Australia, mate. So be aware of that, my friends. There could be also, I get this now, Spirit says a small tsunami between Hawaii and New Zealand. That might go to that point that I keep getting pulled to on the map between those two countries and the activity of the plates underneath the ocean there. So I warned New Zealand, as you know, in the past of severe floods, and that cyclone Gabrielle brought exactly that, floods and evacuations. The area between New Zealand and Australia, again, keeps coming to mind for multiple reasons. First, relate to my past prediction where there will be lots of movements in the Earth's plates beginning, bringing about earthquakes and a large eruption of a volcano in New Zealand. This is important, my friends in New Zealand. Very important warning here. Spirit warned. When the blast of the great volcano erupts, prepare yourselves for a great shaking to your people that will follow. Again, when the blast of the volcano erupts, it just said blast, it didn't say great blast. Let me rephrase that. I threw a word in there that Spirit didn't say. Sorry, Spirit. When the blast of the volcano erupts, prepare yourselves for great shakings to your people that will follow. So be safe, my friends, in New Zealand and Australia too. Thailand coming to me today. Thailand, that's one that doesn't come up very often, but it kept coming to me today, and I'm not really clear on all the details. Thailand first popped up in my mind when I was channeling information from Spirit about war and conflict earlier. So perhaps maybe it's related somehow to war or conflict, but I also saw a whole bunch of water. So I warn our friends in Thailand of great floods, but even a wave of water that could be a tsunami that hits Thailand. So our friends in Thailand, please be safe. Spirit warns of massive blackouts, something we talked about a lot on the show and many that did occur that were predicted, but Spirit said today massive. So that makes me feel like massive would be something that would affect a million people or more, not just thousands of people, right? So a good part of me feels that this is partially weather related, but at the same time, I see power grids coming under attack. Spirit reminds me of my past vision. Remember my vision I had a while back, not that long, maybe a couple months ago, of I thought it was a white van or something backing up to the fence of a power station. And then I saw a large explosion as they were running away from the vehicle. And saw the explosion affecting the person that's coming from the vehicle. So Spirit reminded me of this today, which means that this is still on the table as being a very possible reality in the near future. Our friends on the East Coast of the United States. Hello, my East Coast friends and family. You have lucked out so far this winter, and you laugh at me because we're getting pounded with snow, ice, and storms here. Well, guess what, friends? March weather is going to come in like a storm. You're going to have winter drag on, even though you really haven't had much of a winter right now. But we're going to see there's still a lot of people throughout that are going to be pounded with winter storms and cold temperature drops. March winter will let us know that March is going to let us know that winter is still hanging out, and that anything's possible. So March is going to be a big reminder of that this year. And many places in the Southern Hemisphere, our friends in the Southern Hemisphere are going to experience record-breaking floods and tornadoes in places never before witnessed. Tornadoes in places never before witnessed in the Southern Hemisphere. I had a vision that shows the Arctic cold air scattering in different directions. It was really odd, very strange vision. So I see this covering large parts of the East Coast, especially down there in Pennsylvania. March is going to bring about record cold temperature drops and even record heat by the end of March in certain areas. Heat waves, early heat waves. More weather systems next week, more about weather predictions next week, because next week I will do a March prediction video. I will upload the March prediction video. Thank you, Jem. Hey, Jem, how you doing, girl? Long time no see. And I'm down towards the end. Spirit says Tornado Valley. And I know Tornado Valley is somewhere there in Alabama or a bunch of states is Tornado Valley. But Spirit says Tornado Valley, beware. Record-breaking high winds and multiple tornadoes will wipe through these states in a very short period of time. This will come on out of nowhere very suddenly, while few others, you'll get preparation warning. But Spirit says not all of them are going to come with a pre-warning. A lot of them are going to just come out of nowhere suddenly. So heed these warnings, my friends. Heed these warnings that a huge potential for a record amount of tornadoes to occur in a short window of time. And I feel like this is coming, within the next week, 2 weeks at the most. Spirit says, Mother Earth is not done with the Middle East. And I said this before, but Spirit said it again today. Mother Earth is not done with the Middle East. More great quakes are coming, including a great quake in Iran. That's not my notes, but I'm going to put it in here. Iran, more for Turkey, but that wasn't the country I was thinking of. I was thinking of Iraq, a large quake in Iraq. I put Iraq and my computer put drag. Okay. Anyway, I have this worry or concern of sorts that there's another type of anthrax type scare that's coming. Spirit showed me visions today of letters and packages that felt toxic. I can't and would not say that it's exactly anthrax, but something similar, if not anthrax. Something to keep our eyes on. That felt like the United States to me. I see modern day Manson killing taking place that I mentioned to you all before. I saw this horrific vision in the past, but Spirit reminded me again of it today, which may mean that we are closing in on this prediction. Some of you all thought that prediction, past prediction, ended up being the girls that were murdered at college and the boy. But this is not the case according to Spirit. I would imagine that if it's like the Manson killings, it would therefore involve celebrities and the state of California. Yes, housing crisis and a fall of real estate. Just a reminder of that. But I see a major housing crisis coming into fruition. I'll talk about more of that in my March predictions. Last thing here, last two things. Did you see that Elon Musk was at the WEII in the New World Order little meeting? Spirit said he's the great deceiver. Musk is nothing more than a pawn. So keep that in mind. I'm going to leave you with that because I am doing the PP dance. I just want to ask you to please put prayers out to dog Cody Compton because he's not well. He's the family dog. Not my dog, but family dog. And he's not well and Cody needs your love. And I love each and every one of you. It's always fabulous hanging out with you on Tuesday. Make sure you join me again next Tuesday. Don't forget to click that like button. Check out the newsletter below. And spread the love, spread the magic wherever you go. Until the next time, be kind to others as you wish others be kind to you because we all know mean people suck. With that all said, have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.